Welcome to Marksman TV. Before we talk about today's subject, I just want to remind you to subscribe so that you'll be the first person to receive all the videos that we are going to send. Just subscribe and hit the notification button so that you'll be the first to receive all the videos that we are going to send. The channel is all about Christian rebuttal. It's all about establishing the truthfulness of the Christian view, the truthfulness of Christianity, the claims of Christianity, and to explain them furthermore to those that are non-Christian, that are either wanting to understand or either opposing what we are saying as the Christian view or Christian people. So today I'm just gonna quickly look into the account of the Garden of Eden. What happened in the Garden of Eden? The Bible says in the book of Genesis chapter number 2 verse 16 and 17, when the Lord had created man, mark this, the Lord had created man, who is Adam, and the Lord gave an instruction unto Adam, and he said, as far as trees are concerned, you must eat every other tree in the Garden of Eden, but there is one particular tree that is in the middle of the Garden of Eden that you must not eat. That is the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I want you to understand something very quickly here. The truth of the matter is that there were two trees in the Garden of Eden, that in the middle of the garden, that were peculiar, that were named by their names. Number one, there was the tree of life, and the tree of life, Adam was allowed to eat as much as he wanted. Then number two, there was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. This tree was the one that an instruction was issued by God, by Jehovah, to say, Adam, do not eat of this tree. So you would understand that weighing the two trees, the most important tree there was the tree of life, because life was coming from eating the tree of life. Then the tree of knowledge of good and evil was not that important. That's why God allowed Adam to eat the most important tree and do away with the less important tree. But I want you to understand that the second tree, which is the tree of knowledge of good and evil, was not a poisonous tree, was an edible tree, but it was a tree that was coming with an extra thing. If you eat the fruit of it, it was not just going to come with filling your stomach, as much as the tree of life was giving life. This also tree was giving knowledge. So the tree that gave life, God allowed men to eat, but the tree that gave knowledge, or that opened eyes, God did not allow to eat. This is what I'm speaking about today. The Bible says in the book of Genesis chapter number 2 verse 25, this is the last verse. The Bible says, and both were in the Garden of Eden, the man and the woman. This is after Eve was created. Both were in the Garden of Eden, and they were both naked, and they were not ashamed. Meaning to say, they were naked, but they were not ashamed, because they did not know, they had no knowledge of what nakedness is. Remember, in the time of Adam and Eve, they lived whilst they were naked. But in our modern time, you cannot live whilst you are naked. Why? You have the understanding. Now today we are going to answer where that understanding came from. There's a lot of debate in the Christian circles and the non-Christian circles about what is called the original sin, the sin of Adam and Eve. You would understand that the sin of Adam and Eve is disobedience. They disobeyed God and ate the tree which they were not supposed to eat. But this tree, after they ate it, there is something that happened. Remember, all creation are from Adam, because Adam and Eve are the stencils of mankind, the female and the male. So there is reproduction, them reproducing children. You and I, we are products of Adam and Eve. So I want you to mark this. I want you to mark this very, very quickly as I'm about to close. So that tree of knowledge of good and evil, if you eat it, it will cause your eyes to open up, then you would understand what is good and what is wrong. So it means that in the Garden of Eden, you could do something that is bad, or you could stay in a nature that is bad, but you wouldn't know about it because you don't have the ability or the knowledge to separate what is evil and what is good. So when they ate that tree, the book of Genesis chapter number 3, verse 7, this is verse 6 and verse 7, it says, and their eyes were opened, and from that moment they began to know that they were naked, and after that they did something about it. They began to sew leaves so that they can cover their nakedness. Remember, they had lived without knowing that they were naked. So their sin is disobedience. Men did not inherit the sin of disobedience, but because of the sin of the first two people, men inherited something that is still in the generations right now, the ability or the knowledge to separate between good and evil. And that ability causes you to will or to respond either in an evil way or in a good way. So men inherited the responsiveness to anything that is before them in a good way or in an evil way. Remember, back then they did not know that this is good and this is evil, so they could not respond with either good or evil. So men inherited the nature of knowledge, the ability to know that this is good, the ability to know that this is evil. That's why you see up until now you have got the ability to know that this is good and this is evil. So men, let me set the record correct, men did not inherit the sin of disobedience, but men inherited the nature of the opened eyes. When your eyes are opened, you can now know what is good and what is bad, and you can choose now to do it, either to do what is good and to do what is bad. So this is what man inherited in the Garden of Eden. So your eyes right now are opened as you are listening to me. Your eyes are opened right now because of the sin, that of disobedience, that was done by Adam and Eve. So you must understand this. We did not inherit the sin of disobedience, but we inherited the opened eyes. Why? Adam and Eve were the first people to be here on earth. So every offspring that came out of them came with the same nature of opened eyes. That's no wonder why in the book of Genesis chapter number 4, you would understand that the first murder was committed by Cain, and nobody told Cain this is to murder, but because the nature was already now in him, and also the nature was already now in Abel, Abel chose to do good, but Cain chose to do bad. This is the account of the Bible as far as the original sin is concerned. In conclusion, what did Adam do? Adam and Eve do? They disobeyed God and ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and the result is that which is affecting you now, the eyes that are opened. So Adam and Eve, they ate the fruit and their eyes were opened. Them being the first people, everything they reproduced was reproduced with opened eyes. No matter why right now you are a Christian, you are a Muslim, you are a Hindu, you are what, your eyes are opened. You can know what is good and what is bad. It was as a result of what your fore or grandparents did. They ate the fruit and their eyes were opened, so your eyes are also opened. So I cannot really term it the original sin, that men inherited sin, but men inherited a nature of opened eyes from the original sin, the sin of disobedience that Adam and Eve did. Our grandparents, or the stencil of mankind, so whatever they reproduced carried the same nature of opened eyes and the ability to choose between good and bad. God bless you. More videos are coming. Let's just meet in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe and press the notification button so that you be the first people to receive the videos that we're going to be posting.